the state is waiting for from ENCA regarding the proposition that was put by Mr. Mgomezulu that the deceased was shot by Mr. Longotwal and that in the process he shot himself in the foot.
Mazai, are you still showing us that?
Yes.
There's a footage that is available, my lord, that we want to show to the court. There's a footage that the state is waiting for.
So, suspect.
Jobs.
Yes, I have shared for you a clip, and I'm also going to share another clip.
It's the 28th of October and I'm Jerusha Sukhthiarath. You're watching News 24 Live. Let's have a look at newspaper front pages from around the country now. And it's safe to say that most of the newspapers this morning chose to focus their attention on the death of Bafana Bafana's captain. It's an absolutely devastating story. He was shot in the home of his girlfriend, and police have put together a task team and are even offering a reward for anybody who comes forward with information that could lead to a conviction of the killers. On the front page of the Volksblad here we have an absolutely beautiful picture of Senzo. On the front page of the Witness, Death of a Dream, a picture here of Senzo Mayiwa on the top, but underneath that, his father being comforted by a relative in their KZN home. On the front page of the Times, our battles to save the dying Senzo. Now remember that when Senzo Mayiwa was shot in that home in Vosloorus on Sunday, he was surrounded by friends and of course his girlfriend Kelly Khumalo. They were of course traumatized by this, but they spoke to the press yesterday describing what had happened. On the front page of the Star, Senzo riddle, massive manhunt as cops probe mystery post. The front page of the Herald here has chosen to focus on Senzo's girlfriend, that's Kelly Khumalo. She's of course a singer and an actress. Senzo and Kelly share a daughter, and here Kelly Khumalo is pictured outside her home in Vosloorus with her daughter. Again, keeping with the theme of crime really affecting the lives of South Africans and quite frankly taking the lives of South Africans away. Here we have the front page of the Daily Sun. Crime has to stop ruining our lives. A beautiful picture of Senzo Mayiwa on the football pitch, and here we see one of his childhood friends who was with him when he died. On the top of the Daily Sun readers were given the opportunity to pay tribute to Senzo Mayiwa. On the front page of the Citizen, here we see Stop the Killing, the really senseless killing of Senzo Mayiwa.
Thank you, Suspect.
Thank you for that, Jobs. Let me just start by greeting our viewers. Good morning, Masterminds. No, it's not morning, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday. Afternoon, Masterminds, we are back here. And you know what to do when you enter in the house. This is the usual edition of the Real Masterminds. Come into the house, knock, you like, you subscribe, and you share. That's how we do it when we enter the mastermind, guys. We have in Jobs again here. We have showed us 2 videos there, and yeah, it was the news of the death of Senzo Mayiwa back in 2014. In Jobs, we have greeted already, but I'm greeting you again so that I can also give you a chance to greet our viewers and tell us what is it that we are going to discuss today.
Yes, Suspect, good afternoon to Real Masterminds. And you know what, it's always a pleasure to have this time and share with you the sequence of South Africa as it happened. Now, we may have started in pursuit of this journey of protecting the brand SAPS, protecting South Africans, protecting our justice system, protecting all the organs of state that the Constitution of South Africa entrusts us or forces us to protect it. it also tells us, suspect, that we must not look away when we say these things. Now, in a very dramatic sequence of events, suspect, is that I played a video, which was a TikTok clip, with the voice of Baloyi in court, where he's saying that now they're gonna bring a CCTV footage. No, a video footage, basically, that was captured by ENCA. But let me just tell the real mastermind is that they need to subpoena the whole archive, ENCA as well as SABC. Not just that alone, suspect. The producers of Tencent that produced the film, the document of Senzo Meyiwa, all the journalists that were there, suspect. Because the daily newspaper, with what Baloyi has done, suspect, because we are going to show these patterns of our NPA, how NPA has remained to be dodgy whenever they're dealing with the cases. We've recently seen that the court has condemned them in Bloemfontein. Now, before we can even start to talk about the next big thing that we're going to discuss now, I need to remind you, and real masterminds, that we are following the case as it happened. We're trying to see the witnesses, what they are doing, compared to what the eyewitnesses were saying in 2014. Because today in court, we're seeing a lot of police officers as if Senzo Meyiwa died in the police station, where else we could be seeing more eyewitnesses as well as nurses from the hospitals. Because that's where Senzo, yes. Now, but we're seeing something different.
And you are right, Njabs. We don't have witnesses of people at the hospital where Senzo's body was received to come and tell us in what condition was Senzo when we arrived there. Remember, you must start at emergency casualties before you move to another section. None of those people have been called. So this case are being run, I don't know, like those Nigerian movie scripts. That's all I can say.
Yes. That's the most important thing, suspect, because now it tells us that while we're looking, there's a prosecution, which is NPA, which is in the center of this case, and we had the police, which is a lead investigator in this case. Guess what then happens, suspect? Now, the players, the people that we're being expected that we must trust them, and we're trying to link the investigation pattern, we've been trying to link it to an incident of Rona van Kruijtje. Guess what, suspect? You already know this, but I'm going to flight it, and I want you to be the one that breaks the news to the real mastermind. What is this?
Let's do it. Okay. This is a letter that is addressed to the Honorable Mr. S. Mchunu, the Minister of Police. Formal complaint against Brigadier Gininda, Advocate Chauke, Advocate Kaba, Advocate Kumalo for collusion to manufacture false evidence, prosecutorial misconduct, and defeating the ends of justice. The complainants... Okay.
Before you continue, suspect, so that people don't think that we're trying to match things that don't exist. Now, we know that the lead investigator on the Senzo Meyiwa case is who. So, because we cannot try to look away where we're seeing a similar pattern that is unfolding on the Senzo Meyiwa case. But then people says, no. But you guys, what you mentioned, this is what has happened now. You understand? This is what had happened. So these people that are mentioning, NPA, Brigadier Gininda, they are involved in the Senzo Meyiwa case.
Same script, different accused. The same
Yes.
persons, is just different accused. So I'm going to read. The complainants,
Yes.
Asiboniso Gamani Mia is accused. Nyakiso Welcome Mafunda accused 2. Mia is accused 1. And Mfaniseni Sipiwe Memela accused 3. In the Johannesburg High Court under case number SS 163/2015, the subject matter of the charges emanates from 2 police dockets, namely Bedford View Case 24 of 9/2013 and Bedford View Case 149 of 10/2020. The former concerns a robbery of the same Basam Issa, and the latter concerned the murder of same Basam Issa. We are facing an indictment containing 9 counts. The first 5 counts relate to Bedford View Case 24 of 9/2013, and count 6 to 9 pertains to Bedford View 149 of 10/2013. We pen this formal file complaint against the above mentioned officials holding senior position of trust within the State Departments and or state institutions mentioned herein above, and humbly request investigation into their unethical and illicit conduct. Bedford View Case 24 of 9/2013 is closed in the police administration. Nevertheless, Brigadier Gininda and Advocate Kaba put us on trial for a closed case. We are in possession of undeniable documentary proof that the case is still remaining closed as undetected in the police system. Ironically, we are subjected to a trial even when the case is closed. Hi. The basis of our complaint is that Brigadier Gininda, Advocate Kaba, and Jacob Nare have been found to have colluded and lied before the Alexandra magistrate by a court of law. The court found further that their misconduct is serious and amount to defeating the ends of justice. We have the judgment wherein the court found that Advocate Kaba, Jacob Nare, 204 witness in records, and Brigadier Gininda colluded and lied before the magistrate in Alexander. The court went further to say it is very serious because they committed the crime of defeating the ends of justice. We submit that this conduct is not only unethical and unconstitutional, but criminal conduct. And James, can you move it a bit up, please? To paragraph 4. Brigadier Gininda on audio-visual media testified under oath before the Pretoria High Court that it was the first time that he used Colonel Mboto to take an accused confession in his cases. To put it differently, Brigadier Gininda had the audacity to lie in court and the nation at large because there's proof beyond the shadow of a doubt that Brigadier Gininda arranged Colonel Mboto to record the alleged confession. One of the accused under Pretoria Court Case 43297/2018, and the police station reference number is Meadowlands Case 267/12 of 2010. Long before he took over investigations of the Senzo Miwa murder docket. We maintain that the conduct of these officials brings the image of your respectful department into disrepute, and believe that your departments will act immediately to prevent the creation of an impression that your departments are complicit and or passively accept such evil practices. Brigadier Gininda's manufacturing of false evidence. Brigadier Gininda was, in our opinion, used in the fight between the DPCI and crime intelligence. In our case, there are written statements implicating General, my friend, Richard Mduli. You know why I said that. I have not received judgment in my case yet. It's almost, I think it's almost 3 months. Is it 3 months? I'm still waiting for judgment, so I'm not going to call his name. I'm going to say General, my friend. Richard Mduli and Munu as associates of Radovan Krejcir and being on his payroll. This was also testified in oral evidence before the High Court by Grigorov, Lucky Mokoena, and Jacob Nare. According to the statement made by Pierre Ludovic Theron, which was typed and commissioned by Brigadier Kininda himself, General No Name was paid 6 million rands by Radovan Krejcir, and General Richard Mduli was paid 8 million rands. Furthermore, the statement of Yuan Hubert reveals that General Munu Mabasa and Mduli were paid monies through him. Krejcir would send money to him from Krejcir or Lolly Jackson account, and he would pay the said generals. The question is, why did Kininda fail to arrest these people if they are so heavily implicated? Instead, he arrests us without any paper trail, fingerprints, DNA, and or any acceptable evidence, except for the word of mouth of the criminal 204 witness they created. Remember, this is all on record in court. It's public information because it's already on record in court. Brigadier Kininda made a deal with Lucky Mokoena that he will protect and keep him out of prison, even for crimes he was already convicted, in exchange for fabricating evidence in court and implicate us for offenses we did not commit. Lucky Mokoena is the one, the Section 204 witness, who alleged that he was promised 3 million to make confession or to implicate other people. I'm just giving a brief background. To implicate the accused in the crime, and then he was never paid, and he actually also wanted to make confessions regarding that. Just for the background of the viewers. Lucky Mokoena was given the status of a state witness for a robbery that he himself committed in the company of his accomplice named Makanda. Mokoena testified that we were not present when they robbed the deceased. Brigadier Kininda arrested and charged us with robbery with full knowledge that we did not commit it, and Advocate Kaba prosecuted us with full knowledge that we did not participate in the commission of the crime. The main perpetrator was turned a state witness. It is a well-known fact that Mokoena is a self-confessed housebreaker and robber with a milky criminal history. This is evidence on the record. Neither Brigadier Kininda nor Advocate Kaba can attempt to dispute this fact. Brigadier Kininda traveled with another witness, Mondli Mbelu, to and from Colenso, KZN province. A formal pointing out was conducted and photographer was at the scene. Mondli Mbelu pointed out to the police the place where he buried an AK-47 assault rifle, and it was discovered and photographs were taken by a police official from KZN LCRC. Brigadier Kininda did not arrest Mondli Mbelu at Colenso, KZN province for possession of the AK-47 after the gruesome discovery. Brigadier Kininda took a statement from Mbelu under Section 105A and 204 of the Criminal Procedure Act 51 of 1977. In other words, Mondli Mbelu was turned into a state witness to testify and implicate us for an AK-47 that was pointed out to Brigadier Kininda by Mbelu. We, Sibonisiso Miwa and Nkanyuso Mafunda, were in prison when Brigadier Kininda charged us for possession of an AK-47 pointed out by Mbelu and recovered in our absence. Again, the perpetrator was kept out of prison and made to implicate us in a crime committed by the witness himself. Sipiwe Memela was not yet arrested. However, he was also absent when Mbelu pointed out the AK-47. This is a long letter. What we find strange is that Kininda immediately took Mbelu's statement under Bedford case 14910 of 2013 before the AK-47 was linked through fingerprints and or without first subjecting it to ballistic investigations and receiving a ballistic reporting linking it to case 149 of 10/2013. What is stranger is that the AK-47 dug up in a formal pointing in Colenso KZN was never investigated in Colenso. Brigadier Kininda pulled rank, took initiative. That one, he said, I'm the lead investigator. Where am I now? Now, Jabs, go, but down. Yes. Brigadier Kininda pulled rank as the lead investigating officer, took initiative that is uncharacteristic of acceptable standard with English investigation, and himself took custody of the AK-47, transported it to Gauteng, immediately linked it to Bedfordville case 14910 of 2013, without first submitting it to the Forensic Science Laboratory for ballistic investigations in comparison with Cartwright cases uplifted in the crime scene of the murder and the Bedfordville case 14910 of 2013. That seems to be Brigadier Kininda's style of firearm investigation, that is, to personally keep custody of unlawful firearms, and this happened in a similar modus operandi to the custody of a firearm that is said to have killed Senzo Mula. It is noteworthy and worth mentioning that Captain Chris Mangena was outside standard procedure sent by Brigadier Kininda to personally book out a firearm from Cleveland Police Station SAP-13 storage, later investigated by himself at the Forensic Science Laboratory, and link it to the firearm that killed Senzo. Coincidentally, is the same Chris Mangena who investigated the AK-47. It was in the custody of Brigadier Kininda from Colenso KZN to Gauteng. Oh, it's now a common it's now a common cause fact that you have, since your appointment, vowed to eradicate your department of all forms of corruption and wrongdoing. It is based on the promise that we now approach your officers for assistance with our very real and serious complaints. It was revealed by Jacob Nare that with the consent of the organizing of Advocate Kaba, a fake bail application was arranged for him to mislead the defense teams and prevent them from accessing the truth about Jacob Nare's true status as a witness. It has been Kininda and Kaba's position of doing that all along that Jacob Nare was in fact arrested and detained on charges until finally Jacob Nare capitulated and turned state's witness or evidence. Thereafter, Nare was granted 204 state witness status after he entered into a 105A agreement with the state. Nare exposed the truth on the witness state and revealed that he was in fact never arrested or charged, that he was in fact working with Kininda all along. Even prior our arrest, Nare testified that it was not a real arrest but a pretended arrest. The attorney that appeared on his behalf was arranged by Brigadier Kininda and by Advocate Kaba. Jacob Nare testified as a force, not only in the High Court but also at the Protea Regional Court. It took me back to Mjiako.
Yes. Now you see what's happening.
Wow. That's happened in 2013, people. 2013, that's happened. So Jacob Nare, who was sworn in with a false identity and insisted on record that he was indeed Jacob Nare. However, he considered during cross-examination that he was born in Botswana as Sibanang Fenyana. He assumed several identities in his lifetime, and the SAP-69 revealed that he was convicted on more than 2 different names. 2 with Bongani Nyati and Bongani Mgululu. A copy of this witness SAP-96 is available of inspection. I've seen that. It's available. Nare alleged during his evidence that a bail application wherein he was granted was never a legitimate bail application and was instead a farce to throw the defense off the path of the truth. He further alleged that the NPA and also the magistrate conducting the bail applications were all in on the fabrication to mislead the defense. Amazingly enough, Kaba does not deny these events actually transpired. He only attempted to distance himself from them, and Brigadier Gininda is here to take responsibility to come clean on why he conducted himself in manufacturing false evidence. Yo, it reminds me of Mgomezulu who say they are manufacturing evidence on a daily basis. Look now here. Hi, we have since discovered that real Jacob Nare, whose name was stolen by the 204 witness, is deceased. He was stabbed to death. Listen to that. This is scary. This is yo, Njap.
This is scary, but if
scary.
yes,
the
if I take
are doing is scary.
yes,
Furthermore,
it's
Brigadier Gininda and the state advocate knew that the 204 witness who was sworn in as Jacob Nare was not the real Jacob Nare. Nevertheless, elected to give a Zimbabwean identity thief a Section 204 status. He's not even documented. He have been given who killed the real Jacob Nare? That is my question before I read further. A lot of things is just going through my mind. Who killed Jacob Nare? Wow.
yeah.
Nevertheless, elected to give now the copy of the criminal case murder docket, Acacia case 210 of 8/2015 is available, and death certificate of the murdered real Jacob Nare is contained in. And Judge, this case started. All this started in 2013. In August 2015, Jacob Nare had been stabbed to death, and mysteriously, his ID find its way into Gininda's hands, and Gininda handed this ID over to the Zimbabwean criminal who is not even documented. Wow. Advocate Chauke, Kaba, and Brigadier Gininda random a wording of having Section 105A and 204 of the CPA deals to all witnesses in our matters must surely be cause for concern when the following is taken into account. Just move up, Punjab. With their bail application of state witnesses who were granted bail, also 105A and 204 statuses the same as that of Nare. In other words, was the bail application of Grigorov yet another farce to keep the defense from getting at the truth? This must be the case, and as when we attempted to question Grigorov about his bail application affidavit, Advocate Kaba, with the aid of the court, prevented this from happening. Like this is now happening in this case, where the defense are being prevented to do anything that they are trying to do, they are being prevented. The trial court has been found to have violated accused right to a fair trial by the authors of the commentary of the Criminal Procedure Act 51 of 1997 as amended. The authors of the commentary, the Twee, de Jager, Pijzes, Skien, and Van der Merwe, found our time is running out. 10 minutes left.
Yes. I think
we are not going to. We have to go to the gist of this. We go to the gist of this. It's a long letter, but this letter was delivered by hand. Was it yesterday, Japs? What is the date there? Was delivered by hand to the office of the Minister of Police, and this is a replica of what is currently happening in the sense of what?
Yes. There's the receipts, Suspect.
There's the receipts. Yes, it was on the 5th of June 2025. It was signed there. It was handed over by hand to the office of the Minister of Police. And there's attached to this letter is the evidence, the court records, the transcripts, everything is attached to that letter.
Now, Suspect what is important here is that maybe towards the end, let me just see who are the actual people that actually laid the actual complaint. Because these people, I know people have been labeled as disgruntled people. né? Let me just share the screen because we want to help the real masterminds in a very quick analysis of this complaint.
Yes.
Now, I want real mastermind to pay attention. That is Bonisa Wamani Mia, accused number 1, is currently in Zonderwater prison. Remember Zonderwater in Senzomewa case, how does it come about? Because Krecher was kept there. The head of security at the time was Mr. Yaga, who came to testify about certain issues. Number 2 suspect is Johannesburg prison. This Kanyiso Mafund.
Welcome,
Number 3.
That's what is
Yes.
this one not the one whose confession
No,
was
we'll
taken?
unpack them.
His,
Yes,
his confession was taken by just by seeing the name. I remember his confession was taken by Mboda.
Yes, no, as well as Memela. So we will actually deal with these things later on when we're unpacking this complaint. But why we introduced it with Baloyi saying he's gonna call subpoena ENCA. We said the witnesses. Now, real mastermind has said we now have a duty that our South African can be cleansed. Our South African institution can be cleansed now. They need to subpoena everything. These are currently accused people.
Yeah.
We've shown you before that Ntanzi is currently all the 5 accused. They don't have a case against them. Ntanzi is also facing a 163 Nongoma case, which is closed. Is never appear in court. And what we've seen in this complaint, these are people that either they've worked with these police officers or they've become victim of these police officers, but they did not have a chance, like what these 5 accused now have, where their story can be analyzed as when it happened. Now, last time, suspect, you challenged Paul O'Sullivan on certain things. Now, this is where the Jacob Nare story, and where's the link? Paul O'Sullivan, we know you, that you don't leave, you investigate up until the call. Please, sir, we're asking you to check whether, were you not misled with the story of Jacob Nare and what you have now?
No. I remember this was actually exhausted in court. I remember there was also a letter of Candace Kutsia whereby they wanted to remove themselves from the identity document of Jacob Nare and say, no, but they just chose a random name. Okay, I don't have a problem with choosing a random name. You can choose any other random name. But how come you have the actual identity document? After this guy has been stabbed to death in 2015, all of a sudden Gininda has his ID, and now this guy are now being afforded the identity document of a man who was murdered. And for that matter, the most important thing here that we said about Ntanzi are on trial for a case that he was never charged. These guys are on trial for a docket that was already closed.
Yes. So now, also, when we're reading the letter, because people must not think, the ISA part, the person who was involved there was Advocate Taba as well as Officer Mhol, Mama Mfundis, was also the yes. Now, do you see how the Senzomewa movie actually was played before? It's a script that they were successful with it in playing it. Now they want to make it. And now what you also see that you also saw that there was an introduction of an AK-47 that was found. This was also linked with the assessment of that AK-47. It's Colonel Mandela. Yes, that he was randomly called.
Just randomly called.
Yes. The confession was taken. And who gets to be randomly called again? It's Mboto. And where is the evidence again that Mboto that was found that is linked to accused number 3 is linked with the Cleveland case? Why they also found Umtshali? Umtshali gets to be pulled back from retirement to come back and get a promotion after he resigned. Umtshali even breaks to us saying at that time he was having a rank of poverty, a lower rank. Now he's a captain. So he was brought in there and was compensated to make a story of this. Now again, also what we also hear there, we hear the story about General Mdluli. Now, how Mdluli is affected on the Senzo Mewa case? Because he was convicted. General Mdluli was convicted by who? Judge Rat. Now, real
masterminds. And we told you, masterminds, we are going to untangle. We are going to untangle. We are going to dig. The more Baloyi is trying to save his face, the more we are going to expose them. This is a sophisticated syndicate.
Yes.
And you know what they mastered in the Senzo Mewa case? They mastered the art of not being caught out, because with the confessions in the Bradwan Kreshe case, they were caught out by the OB register. In the OB register, it was recorded that the accused was assaulted.
But now they still fake the OB register. Now it's Baloyi that chooses to not focus on that. It's our current defense that is choosing not to focus on the fake OB books. Suspect that's not us. The OB books are still fake. If the defense doesn't want to focus on it,
it's still fake.
Us. It's
the matter of the fact here is whether nothing is recorded, whether it's we want them to bring them so that we can expose that OB books are fake.
Yeah.
So masterminds, there you go. We told you. We are 199% inside Phakathi this case. No one is going to stop us. As you say, we get information. People are being in detention since 2013 for a case that was Nandi was released in the same case. No?
Yes.
For a case that was long withdrawn at a police station.
And Candace lost her job. Candace
lost the job because of this.
A full captain, competent captain.
Competent, very, very good in a job. Here we are now. We are not going to stop until we expose everything. And Jabs, I forgot to tell you, there's fire on the mountain there at the sub-head office. People are going to be arrested soon. One of the generals are on the run. General Lishaba are on the run. They are looking for him. Warrant of arrest has been issued against him. He's missing.
No, let's record so that you tell.
He's missing. We will come back with more information, but you will be the first one to know once I get news that, hey, all of them have been arrested, but they are going to be arrested. They already started with Lishaba. He decided he's going to run. I don't know where he's going to run to. He must come back and come and account. I've been called so many names when I started with